Hi, I'm Scott from Maple. I'm the projects manager here, and today I'm doing a briefing about groups and structures. I'd like to start off with talking about why we do group structures. So we've done them for various clients and we do them for different reasons: protection, expansion, mergers and acquisitions, and directors' dividends. We'll go into these in more detail now. So protection, what do we mean? Protection is things like assets being not just plant, machinery, it can be property, IP, domains. Staff protection is something that's quite vital at the moment because of employment tribunals. We've also got the protection in relation to business failure and ultimately litigation, either from the public, suppliers, customers, or any third party. Expansion. When a business is going to expand or wants to open new offices, having a group structure gives you that protection that if something happened to one of the offices, you don't have to keep it going. It allows other people to come on board within the group without risking the existing trading business. It also gives directors the flexibility to offer shareholdings in these new ventures, these new offices, without giving away equity in their main trading business, which really helps with the buy-in and people wanting to come along with the journey. Mergers and acquisitions. These help businesses because it gives you a bigger egg. It's a bigger company. You can go after bigger customers. When you're doing tenders, some of them have thresholds that you might not have been able to do yourself, but if you merge with another company, you can. Merging also brings other benefits. You have the pooling of resources, which normally always will create a reduction in overheads that the business has. The other reason is directors' dividends. For us at Maple, this is quite important because we do have many clients that have more than one director and everyone's circumstances are different. When someone takes their dividends out of a company, that creates a personal tax point. You might not want to have all of your dividends in 1 year. A director might have family members and have different circumstances. By having a group structure and a holding company owning your shares, we can look at transferring the dividends up to that holding company, and then each director can distribute it as they see fit that relates to their circumstances. It doesn't create a tax point because dividends are not taxed for corporation tax within that holding company. What do we need to consider when we're doing these groups? With regards to the assets, there's tax implications when you're moving assets. If you've already claimed the annual investment allowance, you don't want to be creating balancing charges. Is there any hire purchase linked to those assets? How are we going to pay the consideration? These are all things that have to be considered. When we're having employment companies, we're transferring staff from their existing company into a separate employment company. We've got to be mindful of the pensions and auto-enrolment. You've also got to be mindful that if this employment company is over the VAT threshold, it will need to be VAT registered. We can look at doing it within a group registration so it wouldn't need to charge VAT. If a business does fail within a group, we need to look at how that will affect any of the others. Will HMRC issue bonds for either corporation tax, VAT, CIS? Will the directors look at disqualification? Is there going to be a restricted name? If we're doing mergers for clients, everyone is different. Everyone needs something different. Everyone wants something different. So we always need to look at shareholders' agreements. What's people's end games? What do we do when people fall out? Shareholders' agreements are one of the most important things that a company can have. You only use it when things go wrong or you sell. Unfortunately, if you don't have one in place, it can be detrimental to all businesses. We also need to consider HMRC. Certain transfers, certain group structures, we have to get HMRC clearance. It involves dealing with the clearance department, sending them the information, and then they respond within 28 days. So it's one of the quickest things that HMRC do respond on. The other main thing that we always look at when we're doing any group restructures or anything like this is what's the long-term plan for your business? Are you looking at selling the whole thing? Do we need to look at having it in 2 parts? That would dictate how the group is laid out. It's really important to always think, what is the end game? What is the exit plan? Do you want to have a carve out of part of the business? Because we need to make sure that you don't have more tax implications than necessary. What do we do at Maple that does this? What do we do to facilitate it for the clients? Sale and purchase agreements are vital with regards to the sale of the assets into holding companies. There has to be a legally binding contract that would stand up to any scrutiny, so it has to have a fair valuation prepared. The shareholders agreements, as I've said, is really, really key to these things. Without it, disputes happen. We obviously deal with the incorporation, as I'm sure most people are aware. Often these groups can have up to 10 companies within them, so it's making sure that the shareholdings are right. When we do group structures and we do a share-for-share exchange, it's making sure that all the shares mirror each other before we do it. We also have to look at the articles, because each company, depending when it was formed, might have different stipulations within them. We deal with the HMRC clearance, which is we've done numerous times. We also deal with assisting with the TUPE, transfer and protected earnings of staff into the new company. That's quite important because there has to be certain procedures followed with that. We will also assist with the auto-enrolment setup for clients. Some pension providers we cannot deal with because they will only deal with independent financial advisors, but we do assist the financial advisors with all the information they need. The final thing that we do that relates to this is when you have a group of companies, you often look to charge costs between them. We make sure that all the clients know what they're charging from one to the other. We set up what's called a recharge matrix so that they know that they're charging the right amount to the right business so that it stands on its own. If you'd like to get in touch with us, please feel free to drop us a line, give us a call, email.